You ever notice how the government keeps talking about intelligence? Government intelligence? That's like saying honest politician, a jumbo shrimp, or a civil war. It's an oxymoron, folks. The government doesn't have intelligence. It has paperwork committees and a talent for wasting time and money. They've got departments full of people whose entire job is to make sure nothing ever gets done efficiently. But they call it a national security. That's the government's version of intelligence. Looking busy while doing absolutely nothing useful. They've got intelligence agencies with names that sound impressive. The CIA, NSA, DIA, DHS. All these letters and none of them spell incompetence. You ever see how they always find out about a disaster after it happens? They've got satellites that can read a license plate from space, but somehow they can't see corruption right under their noses. These are the same geniuses who lose classified documents in a copy machine, misplace entire hard drives, and leak secrets faster than a drunk at happy hour. And we're supposed to trust them with intelligence pleas. The government loves to measure its intelligence by how much information it collects. They call it a data. I call it a digital hoarding. They spy on everyone, record your calls, track your clicks, store your face in some database, all in the name of safety. But ask them how many bridges are about to collapse or where the missing tax dollars went. And suddenly they've got a no comment. They can tell you what you Googled last night, but can't figure out how to balance a budget. That's not intelligence, that's obsession mixed with incompetence. And every few years they form a new intelligence task force. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? What it really means is a bunch of people sitting in a room drinking coffee and making PowerPoints about how smart they think they are. They hold press conferences, issue reports, and announce findings that tell you absolutely nothing. Our intelligence suggests there may be a potential risk of possible activity somewhere in the near future. Oh, really? Wow, that's deep. Did you figure that out before or after the crisis happened? And you ever notice they always say, oh, we're doing this to protect you? Yeah, sure. The same people who can't fix a pothole are out here protecting the entire nation. If the government's this intelligent, how come they keep getting surprised? Surprised by wars, surprised by inflation, surprised by natural disasters. The only thing they plan ahead for is their next vacation or re-election campaign. Government intelligence isn't about brains, it's about control. It's about making you think they're smarter than you so you'll keep obeying. Hey, and not asking too many questions. They love acronyms because it makes them sound official. But the DoD is cooperating with the NSA under the oversight of the CIA. Translation: no one's in charge and no one's accountable. And the funny part, they call their biggest blunders Operation. Operation Freedom, Operation Stability, Operation Enduring Mess. You ever notice that every time they name something positive, the result is the opposite? Operation Peace brings war. Operation Prosperity brings poverty. If they ever launch Operation Honesty, pack your bags. We're all doomed. See, the truth is, government intelligence is really government instincts, primitive survival instincts, leak, deny, and classify. When something goes wrong, they blame someone else, shuffle the papers, and form another committee. When something goes right, they take all the credit. That's the system. The illusion of intelligence held together by arrogance and jargon. And the people. We keep falling for it. Every few years, we vote for a new batch of leaders who promise transparency, efficiency, and wisdom. But once they get in, they start talking like everyone else in Washington. Long words, short thoughts, and zero self-awareness. They'll tell you we're investigating the issue. That means we're pretending to care until you forget about it. Government intelligence. The ultimate oxymoron. A machine that calls itself smart while tripping over its own red tape. They build systems so complicated even they don't understand them. And when the chaos catches up, they call it a learning experience. No, it's not a learning experience. It's stupidity with a security clearance. You ever notice how every time the government wants to fix something, they don't fix it. They form a committee. That's their idea of progress. Somebody says, hey, the bridges are falling apart. And the government says, a good idea. Let's create the Department of Bridge Awareness. They hire 20 people, buy new desks, print shiny ID cards, and by the time they've had their first meeting, 3 more bridges have collapsed. That's bureaucracy. It's like a machine built to move in circles, loud, expensive circles, that never get anywhere. Bureaucracy is what happens when stupidity organizes itself. Instead of one person making a dumb mistake, you've got a whole team of professionals doing it officially. They hold meetings to schedule meetings, they write reports that summarize other reports, and they spend millions of dollars studying problems that everyone already understands. They don't solve anything, they just rename it. A failure becomes a temporary setback. A lie becomes a miscommunication. Corruption, that's a budget reallocation. It's a magical language where nothing ever sounds as bad as it really is. The bureaucrats love rules. They make more rules to fix the rules that didn't work the first time. And when those rules fail, guess what? More rules. It's like watching a dog chase its own tail. Except the dog doesn't send you a tax bill afterward. They've created a world where you need permission to get permission. Want to build a house? Fill out 14 forms, wait 6 months, and talk to 7 departments. By the time you get approval, the house you were going to build has already fallen into the sea. And these are the same people running the country. I think if they just write enough memos, pass enough regulations, and hold enough hearings, the world will start working properly. But nothing gets done because nobody's responsible. Every decision has to go through 10 layers of approval. The boss can't act without the committee can't act without the council. And the council's waiting for the report from the subcommittee that's on lunch break. That's the cycle of government genius. You ever notice how every government office has that one sign? Please take a number and wait. That's not just for you. That's how they treat themselves. Everyone's waiting on someone else, and no one knows what's going on. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and the brain checked out decades ago. But the paycheck, oh, that shows up on time. Bureaucracy is the only system where failure pays consistently. They've got a form for everything. You need to fill out paperwork just to report that another piece of paperwork got lost. You stand in line, talk to someone who says you're in the wrong line, go to another line, and end up right back where you started. It's not a system. It's a maze with no cheese at the end. And here's the best part, they call this efficiency. They'll tell you the process is working as intended. And that's the scary thing. They actually believe that. In their minds, the more complicated it is, the more intelligent it looks. They mistake confusion for complexity and delay for diligence. Bureaucracy doesn't solve stupidity, it industrializes it. You ever notice how every government in the world says the same thing? Oh, we're doing this to protect you. That's their favorite line, protect you. It sounds noble, doesn't it? Like they're your guardian angels with clipboards. But what they really mean is, we're doing this to control you, and we're going to make you thank us for it. They've been protecting people for centuries, and somehow things keep getting worse. If this is protection, I'd hate to see what attack looks like. They say they protect your freedom by taking away your privacy. They protect your safety by giving more power to the people who already have too much. They protect your money by taxing it before you even see it. And they protect your rights by suspending them whenever it's necessary. You see how that works? It's a protection racket, literally. The government's the biggest mafia in town, only difference is they wear suits and have their own flag. They build armies, police forces, surveillance networks, security checkpoints, all to keep you safe. But safe from what? From imaginary enemies they invent so you'll stay scared enough to obey. One decade it's communists, next it's terrorists. Now it's algorithms and misinformation. They always need a new villain because fear is the fuel that keeps their protection business running. And the more afraid you are, the more you'll pay for protection. That's the deal. They protect you by locking you in metaphorical cages. They put cameras on every corner, microphones in every device, tracking software in every pocket, all for your safety. They say if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. Yeah? Then why do they hide everything? Why is everything they do behind closed doors, under classified stamps, inside secret meetings? You try to look at their files and suddenly you're the threat. That's how you know protection is just a brand name for control. And what happens when the protection fails? Which it always does. A disaster hits, an attack happens, the economy collapses. And what do they say? We couldn't have predicted this. Of course you couldn't. You were too busy protecting us from ourselves. You spend billions on weapons and walls, but can't protect a single paycheck. a single hospital or a single truth. That's government protection. Strong on paper, weak in reality. They protect you from a bad gaze by becoming worse ones. They write laws that protect corporations, banks, and insiders. But not you. They protect the system, not the citizens. They'll tell you, we're watching the world to keep you safe, but what they're really watching is you. They're not protecting freedom, they're managing it. Keeping it on a leash so it doesn't run too far from their control. And every time something goes wrong, they use it to add another layer of protection. A new law, a new agency, a new tax, a new restriction. They never take protection away. They only stack more on top of you until you can't move without bumping into a rule, and they'll call that a peace. They say peace through strength, but what they mean is obedience through fear. The irony is, the more they protect you, the more powerless you become. The safest citizen is the one who can't do anything without permission. You can't say this, can't go there, can't question that, because someone in power has decided that your freedom is dangerous. That's not protection. That's parenting on steroids. The government's not your protector. It's a paranoid babysitter that keeps you quiet, keeps you small, and keeps you paying. So when you really think about it, government intelligence is just a polite way of saying organized confusion. A bunch of clueless people in expensive suits making stupid decisions sound official. They've built a system so bloated and self-important that it can't tell the difference between leadership and lunacy. They call it intelligence because a mass incompetence doesn't look good on a business card. They drown you in paperwork, smother you with bureaucracy, and then have the nerve to say it's all for your protection. But what they're protecting is their own power. Not you, not your family, not your future. You're just another number on a spreadsheet, another taxpayer funding the world's most elaborate magic trick, making money disappear while pretending to be smart. And the real joke, we keep believing it. Every few years, we vote in a new batch of problem solvers who turn out to be the same old problem, just with better slogans. They promise change, but the only thing that changes is the logo on the podium. The system stays the same. Slow, stupid, and expensive. That's not intelligence. That's inertia with a flag on top. So yeah, government intelligence, the ultimate oxymoron. Two words that cancel each other out like a clean coal or a military precision. The government doesn't have intelligence. It has instinct. The instinct to survive, to lie, to control, and to keep you thinking they know what they're doing. But if you've been paying attention, you already know the truth. The only intelligence that matters is the one you don't outsource to them. But that's because once you hand over your thinking, your choices, and your freedom to people who can't even run a post office, you're not being protected, you're being managed. And that's the real punchline, folks.